CANAS podcast. We talk sports.
I totally forgot we were going to start like this.
Hello and welcome to episode 43.
Yes, 43.
Of the CANAS podcast.
Yep.
First off, back from a 4-week hiatus. Completely my fault.
All Victor's fault.
1,000% my fault.
Yep.
Although
you were just really busy.
Last weekend I tried to 2 weekends ago I tried to get a recording, but we just either forgot.
I think we forgot actually.
Yeah, I think they forgot the call.
And then last week we just couldn't do it because
I've been out of town for 3 weekends in a row. So
and it was my birthday weekend, so I wasn't going to do anything.
It's not like we're going to make you work on your birthday, no. So November's it's a busy month for our families. Hey, very busy in November, and then December comes and whatever. This will be not a huge episode. We'll talk about footy.
Just because the World Cup is starting in like a day or two. Yeah.
And then we'll talk about hockey for sure. Basketball, we'll touch like 2 minutes on it at the absolute most.
Yeah.
And same with baseball probably. Just 2 minutes on that.
Yeah.
Just mentioning a couple different things. So let's go with the quick ones.
Yeah.
Let's start with basketball. Maybe the Raptors. They're doing okay. Not great, but not awful. They've won against the Heat. They've won some big games.
Yep.
They've also lost some not necessarily big games. Like they've lost to weaker opposition.
But they have been injured, so it kind of makes sense. Like they don't have like that much depth compared to like every other team.
Exactly.
But
this team is not going to knock you out of the building offensively, but they should stifle you defensively. And that's their identity, but that's not going to win it for them, I don't think. That said, we did mention at the beginning of the NBA season that we had the most ever Canadians in the opening night rosters. I think it was like 23 or 26, something like that.
Yep.
So Canada's showing up good, and Girius Alexander just had a monster game, winning it a buzzer beater win. So that's been pretty nice. That's it about basketball, though. There's not much. Andrew Wiggins and the Golden State Warriors are starting off horrifically. They haven't won a single game away. So that's been an interesting one. At least since I remember the last game was away. I don't know if they won or not. I didn't watch it. Baseball, unfortunately, my bold prediction of the Blue Jays making the World Series did not materialize. They had a monumental collapse against Seattle. I blame myself. I was watching the game here at home. They were up.
We'll blame everything on Victor.
It is my fault. They were winning 6-7-1, and they were doing good. And then I'm like, you know what? I'll go to this Thanksgiving dinner, no problem. And then they came back and beat us 9-8. So it's all my fault. Completely my fault.
You shouldn't have gone to that dinner.
I shouldn't have. I told him I shouldn't have. But whatever. We have next year. They have massive trade. Teoscar Hernandez traded away to the Seattle Mariners, conveniently the team that beat us, for 2 pitchers. Now, honestly, Salso, there's like a couple of analytics accounts on Twitter that I saw that have an interesting take on trades. So they look at like a monetary value associated for the player. So like, for example, an even trade would be even amount of money going back and forth, right? So they value Teoscar Hernandez at $10.5 million. It's not bad. The lefty they got, I forgot the guy. I forgot both pitchers.
Eric Swanson was one of them.
Sure, I don't remember.
It was Eric Swanson.
Okay. Oh, Swanson's the righty. No, the lefty.
Oh, the lefty. I don't know about the lefty.
The lefty was valued at 8.5. So if just right there, if it was 1-for-1, like the Jays would have barely lost. Swanson is valued at $16 million. Swanson's ERA last year was 1.69.
Yes, I remember seeing that.
Relief, like a high leverage relief pitcher, which is huge because that's something
we
that
definitely needed
desperately in the playoffs against Seattle. We were missing that.
Yeah.
Now they obviously need to do something to make up for losing Teoscar Hernandez's bat, but they need to bring in a couple more big lefty bats. And the fact that they did not tender Bradley Zimmer and Raimel Tapia tells me that they're in the market right now for a big lefty bat, because those are 2 lefties that, like, you know, they weren't power hitters by any means. I really liked Raimel Tapia. I hope they re-sign him, not for like the big money that he was supposed to get, but I do hope they re-sign him because the Blue Jays still need their offense to be huge, but they need pitching help, and they need pitching help desperately.
Which is why I didn't mind this trade, because like you said, we definitely needed pitching help for sure.
Significantly upgraded our offense and our pitching. And if we get there's a few players available in free agency right now that will be able to. Make
you did mention that when we were talking. So we should be all right.
They're clearly in win now. They're very clearly in win now. The defense can improve a little bit. Bo Bichette has had a little bit too many errors, but the bats need to be the biggest thing on this team. And we don't need the best defense in the world if we have lots of solid pitching. And we have two superstar starters in Gossman and Manoah.
Mm-hmm.
Stripling is a free agent. Who knows if he's going to come back. Hyungjin Ryu, there's no way he does as bad as last year, right?
No.
So, like, if he's even a 3.5 to 3.7 ERA, that's not, like, the end of the world. And then Kikuchi, I mean, hopefully he comes back and figures out his command. Because he actually did really good stuff when he was hitting the strike zone. But he was starting 0-3 counts. No, 3-0 counts.
I was like, that's a strikeout, Victor.
Yeah. No, he needs 0-3 counts, not 3-0 counts. No, he was doing a ton of 3-0 counts, man, and that was just not good. But anyways, I'm sure more news will come out of the world of baseball, especially Canadian-wise. But let's get to hockey. At the beginning of the season, who did we say were going to be the two best teams in the NHL? Two of the best five, probably.
In the NHL or in the Pacific?
We were talking about the NHL. I think you and I both agree that these two teams are the best in the NHL.
It was Calgary and Edmonton.
Yeah. They're both awful.
Yeah.
So we'll go. So both actually have had surprisingly horrific goaltending from their starters. Jack Campbell's been awful.
Stuart Skinner has been really good though.
Stuart Skinner's been fantastic.
Yes.
And we're starting to ride him here a little bit more. So
like all of the losses that he has, Stuart Skinner, I don't blame him. He's been keeping us in the games all the time.
You know what? The Jersey game that we lost was very unfortunate. That was a weaker third goal that he let in. But again, I can't blame him just on that because that was poor defensive play.
No, our defense has been bad.
But that said, what we've always said, we need a goalie who's going to make the one big save every single game. And so far, I would argue every game we've lost, we've not had that one big save. Right? I mean, the Carolina 7-2 shellacking, obviously.
Yeah.
But, and then surprisingly, Calgary's defense has also been horrific. Like that's one of the strong on paper. Calgary's defense is the best in the league, in my opinion.
Basically, their team is basically
team as a whole has been awful.
Yeah.
Huberdeau's on their third line. What's happening? Both these teams, like obviously we're biased because we're from Edmonton, big massive Oilers fan.
Oh yeah, me too.
So we're a little biased, but like. Edmonton and Calgary should be the two best teams in the West, honestly. Just on paper, 100%. Both Edmonton, I think, needs like get us one more defenseman, and we're solid. Honestly, I feel we're generally one big shutdown defenseman away. That's it. Because Nurse has not actually been that bad. Honestly, he hasn't. Bush just hasn't scored much, but defensively, I was watching a few games. Like I was really watching how the defense play. Bush has been pretty solid, man. Like Cece's been playing a little out of his element. He's not been anywhere near as good as he was last year. And then Barry defensively is like not the greatest in the world, but we put up with his offense, but he's not even put that much offense up.
No.
So
like I'm just looking at the standings right now. We're one game over 500, and basically, if we don't count the overtime losses, Calgary's 500.
Yeah.
So we're just both the teams are doing horrible.
Yeah.
Like
we're
based on expectations.
Spots from last I checked.
We are.
We still have what 60 games left. We're fine.
Edmonton is in the first one, and then Calgary is not in the playoffs.
Oh, so okay, yeah, they just went down, I guess.
Yeah.
Listen. It's nowhere near the end of the season.
No.
But a bad start is something that we're used to here. They just need to also start games quicker. With all of that said, the hate on Jack Campbell, like I understand the frustration that he's not, putting up 920 save percentage. I get that. But like he's coming to a new team, a poor defensive team.
Yes.
He just needs to get used to it.
Can't really expect him to save everything if we're giving up so many chances.
Well, that and he seems to be a guy. If he lets the first goal, and his confidence goes down. And that's what's been happening all season. And like, you can tell, like his demeanor completely changes once he lets the first goal in. So that has to change. And that, like, get him in the ice, get the guys to start earlier. But did you see Mark Spector's most recent article?
Yes,
he literally
I did.
blamed
Everything
all the
on
slow starts, all of it on Jesse Puljujärvi.
Yeah.
He's genuinely the biggest idiot in this city.
And then he blames the fans for running players out of town.
I don't even think it's him that blames the fans. I think it's everyone really blames the fans. Because, honestly, Edmonton Oilers fans kind of suck, dude. Like, when we were having a little bit of a cold spell a couple of years ago, like, McDavid and his family were leaving Joey South Common, and he was getting booed and heckled for leaving dinner with his family. Yeah, Oilers fans suck. I'll 100% acknowledge that. But, like, Jesse Puljujärvi is not to blame for the awful starts of every.
But also, we can't really solely blame it on the fans.
It's on everyone. It's on every single last one of them. McDavid has to share part of the blame.
No, but I'm saying, don't blame it only on the fans. Like, media is helping out too for.
Okay, no, 100%.
Yeah,
I genuinely think it's like 90% the media and like 10% the fans.
Yeah, because media is always there, right?
Media is. Mark Spector has always been a prick. But the fans, when things go well, we're nice.
Yeah.
When things don't go well, we have, like, you know, the hooligan fans who try to be funny and do stupid things. But Mark Spector's always been a piece of garbage. I genuinely don't understand how he can still work. Like, are there any Oilers fans that respect or like him? Like, there isn't a single.
I don't think anyone likes Spector.
There can't be. And I only read that part of his article because it was shared on, like, Twitter and whatnot. I don't read anything Spector does anymore. At all. I have no respect for the man. At all. Like, he's horrific. How can you blame this whole thing on Jesse Puljujärvi, on one player? On one single player. Last year he decided to blame everything on McDavid, Draisaitl, and then Jesse as well. Jesse was injured! Like, he's obsessed to the point where it's, like, almost criminal how obsessed he is with him. Like, get a restraining order on the guy.
Yeah.
Like, jeez. No respect for freaking Mark Spector, man. None. So,
but not same. But like, they have to step up though. Edmonton has to step up.
They have to step up. Calgary needs to step up too. These are legitimately the two best chances Canada has at winning a cup. It's Edmonton and Calgary, and it's going to be the two of us for a while, actually. Vancouver's off to another horrific start, though. And
they looked pretty decent, too, like on paper, besides
their
defense.
Offense is exceptional. Their defense is a trash can. And I love Ethan Bear like crazy. I love the guy. But the fact that he's their best right shot defenseman right now,
it's a little scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have been our fourth string right defenseman on this team. And our defense is bad. Like, how bad of a defense does Vancouver have?
Mm-hmm.
And Ethan Bear is your number one right shot. That said, I do think Ethan Bear, when he plays the way he can play, is a top four defenseman. But he just needs to be given the opportunity.
Yeah.
But that's shocking, man. It really is. Winnipeg has pleasantly surprised me, though. They're doing a lot better than I thought they would.
Yeah.
That defense also isn't very good with Bowness.
They're better than
Rick Bowness is
better than Vancouver's though.
Oh God, dude, a midget AAA team is better than Vancouver's defense.
No, but yeah, they're 10-4-1, so they're off to a really good start. Yeah,
I'm very impressed by them. Montreal's doing a lot better than I thought they would. A lot better. That's an impressive young team, man. That's a lot of hype on that team. Ottawa got dealt a huge blow with Josh Norris being injured for the rest of the season. That's really unfortunate for them. But Talbot's back, so another 1-2 punch of Forsberg. Talbot should be good. I mean, Forsberg put up fantastic numbers for me in a fantasy hockey perspective. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to trade for him, which sucks
no.
for me. Whatever.
No, I think, because Edmonton. Well, for me, my opinion, we need more consistency with players playing with the same people, kind of thing, just to build up their chemistry. Because we always seem like, even with other coaches, we always seem to change the lineup every game basically.
Yeah.
Then we have as you see Colorado it's always McKinnon and Rantanen. Pittsburgh, it's Crosby and Guentzel.
Malkin, Russ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even like
Toronto, it's Marner, Matthews.
Yeah. New York Rangers is Zibanejad and Panarin. Like, they always keep like the same players. They build up the chemistry, and then you can see that they are scoring, and
yeah,
basically almost, maybe not every game, but like every other game or so. But
they were doing it last year. So I find that like when we do well, we
like,
keep the lines.
But like I can see like
we start losing a game.
Yeah, we just change it.
Yeah, but it's like I guess from Woodcroft's perspective, like he has to win a game. You're like, why wouldn't you put the two best players in the NHL on the ice together? Sure, it's going to screw up your other lines, but why wouldn't you put those two together? But that also.
But then you just have to. But then you just screw around with the lines, and then it's like, well, then how can you build chemistry with like your line if you're just going to move one of the players to the other line, kind of thing?
The last game against LA, they didn't actually play horrific defense. It's just their offense got stalled quite a bit. But that can't happen, man. Against Cal Peterson of over 4.5 goals against average, you can't just score one goal against the guy, man. Like, at least put 2 or 3. 2 or 3 Skinner will give you a chance to win. Typically, Campbell will too, normally. But like the biggest issue with this team, they have to stop allowing the first goal in the game. And it has to stop happening within the first freaking 10
Basically,
minutes.
they have to like start playing all 60 minutes instead of 40 or
and
20.
I have not watched a 60-minute game from the Oilers since like Game 7 against LA last year.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen a full 60 minutes since then. Because that was an exceptional game.
That was a good game.
I genuinely feel, though, that this team is missing Duncan Keith and Mike Smith like crazy. I told you at the end of last year, I said, I thought Duncan Keith's leadership on this team was massive and severely undervalued. Yeah, okay, 38-year-old defenseman, 39 maybe, like, not in his prime, nowhere near his prime, probably would be a second pairing lefty on a bad team and a third pairing on a good team. I get that. But the intangibles of the guy brought in, Duncan Keith was a massive reason we got past the first round. Same with Mike Smith. As much as we don't want to acknowledge it, Mike Smith was a massive reason that these guys... And yeah, he gave away a ton of pucks all the time, but he made the big save. He made the massive save when we needed it. Mostly, he had to make the save because he made the mistake.
Yeah.
He made a massive save to keep him in. And this Oilers...
And his intensity, too. Like, there's no intensity in our game.
100%.
Like, with Mike Smith, he'll like, yell and stuff, but then it's like, okay, we better freaking keep the puck out of that or else he'll start yelling at us again, kind of thing.
Did you notice that the Oilers do better when they're, like, physically involved in the game?
No, I don't see that.
They're not physically, they're not involved right now. But like all of last year, this year, at the beginning of this year, they had a couple of games. Like when McDavid and Draisaitl start throwing hits and get physically involved, and the whole team gets brought up and does that kind of stuff.
But we can't
need that from others.
I was gonna say, like, we can't allow them to do it all the time because they're our best players, and if something happens to them, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, we just need everyone to start playing more physical, like showing emotion, and then we'll like tire out the other team, and good things will happen.
Offense is so incredibly talented that there's no excuse for us to not just beat them on sheer offense.
Mm-hmm.
Our defense is actually not as bad as like we're playing right now. Like they're just not playing with any confidence defensively, which leads to a lack of offense.
And then it just gives us
the offense was going to happen.
Yeah, and it gives the other team high grade chances of just scoring. Yeah.
This team needs to like start games on time.
Even though the NHL doesn't start at 8, they start at like 8:15.
That's not even talkable. Like the NHL, I swear to, like if there's a way of supporting the Oilers without supporting the NHL, I'd find a way. I really want to try to find a way because like first off, the fact that Edler didn't even get a fine for that knee-on knee is an absolute travesty. Number one. Number two, the fact that freaking Nurse wasn't allowed to fight him afterwards is another joke. to this league. Like, how is it's a similar knee on knee that he did to Heinen 2 years ago, and that's a 2-game suspension that time. You would think Edler would learn. Come on, dude! Like, it's the best player in the game. How are you like letting him get hit knee on knee like that? It's like,
and then the refs don't allow like any
retaliation.
Yeah.
And things. McDavid cross checks him pretty hard, but like not enough to fall that way. Did you notice when he cross checked him, Edler like dove front, looked back the whole time at the ref, and just like let himself fall? Listen. When I played soccer, I let myself fall all the time. I don't even like. There's a difference. So I don't think Edler dove. I don't think because he hit him hard. He was just like looking at the ref. It was like hard to like stay up.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay, I get that. It's a little slimy way of playing. I get it, but like, good on Edler for anticipating the call. But like, that should have been a 5 in a game. I don't care if it's on McDavid or I don't care if it's on freaking Ben Eager.
Where the heck did that come from?
He's like the most non-NHL player I can think of right
now. I was listening to Oilers Nation and did mention Ben Eager. Did you listen to them today? Okay, because they did mention Ben Eager, so I was like, where the heck did that
fight? You know what? At the end of the day, this team needs to start on time.
Yep.
If they start on time, they don't have to worry as much about their defensive end than the offense, because it's going to come. They're so focused on playing good defense that their offense is getting like taken apart, and this team is not going to win without their offense going like crazy.
Mm-mm.
So Vegas tomorrow is going to be a massive. Sorry, today's Wednesday. We're recording on Friday, so likely we'll.
It'll be probably up tomorrow morning. So
Vegas tomorrow, today, yesterday, whatever it is, it's going to be a massive game. Massive game, and the Oilers have to come out strong. And truthfully, this is nothing against Vegas goaltending, because Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson have been unreal so far this year, but they are not better goalies than Skinner and or Campbell. They're just not. They're just playing a better defensive game. They have more they have more confidence in the defense in front of them. And truthfully, I actually think we upgraded our defense in a skill perspective from last year. Leadership, not a chance.
No.
Missing Duncan Keith is massive. We upgraded our goalies a millionfold. It would have been just probably a good upgrade if it was just Smith. The fact that we got rid of Koskinen, that's like huge. Quite possibly the worst goalie in the NHL. Probably the worst goalie the NHL has seen in a decade.
Yeah.
So we've upgraded the goalie. We've upgraded the defense. I'm going to take it back, actually. I think the defense stayed the same. I think Ryan Murray and Marcus Niemelainen make for adequate replacements of Duncan Keith on a current talent level, I guess. Because Niemelainen's a monster, a physical.
I love Niemelainen.
And Ryan Murray is actually really gifted offensively, I was noticing. His defense isn't the greatest, but like Keith was getting caught up all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And our offense upgraded, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like Janmark is a fantastic
I can agree with that. Yep.
Forward. Benson's going to come in for Holloway soon.
We can
I'm hoping Holloway does go to the minors, gets his confidence back, puts 20 goals in the next 30 games down there. I hope Holloway's down there for a while and figuring out his craft and playing a top line role. That's what we need. We need Holloway to be huge. And then Broberg's doing really well, so maybe he comes up, plays second pairing. But who do we like? Barry has to go. Barry has to be the guy that we trade away to get a physical right shot D on this team, because our left side is the offensive side, except for Bouchard. Bouchard with Nurse gets together. Nurse will be the shutdown guy. Did you see he had a couple like massive plays, really good defensive plays? I think it was like 2 games ago, or our last win. There was like he was on they had like a couple 2-on-1s against him, and he broke him up completely. Like that hand eye he has is unbelievable. But
yeah.
I don't know, man. Like this is so and like from a Calgary perspective, what do they need to do to improve? I honestly think it's freaking Markstrom has to.
I was gonna say
to a reasonable level, and then the team will have confidence and they'll play well again.
Yeah, I was gonna say Markstrom just has to just relax and just play like he did last year.
Calgary's style of hockey is, again, a physical. They're going to beat you down and they're going to score goals because they beat you down with sheer force. They're not playing that as well. They had 40 shots on goal last game against Tampa. They still lost 4-1. Tampa only had 24.
Yeah, and you can't really do well if one of your best players is playing on the third line.
Yeah, but that's also, like, Huberdeau has to wake up. He had no goals.
Yeah, no, he has to wake up,
He had
too.
no points for a while. Like, I'm shocked he hasn't dropped in our fantasy league, honestly, because he's just doing that bad. But we're not going to talk about bad, because I have Demko on my team, and he's just god-awful. That sucks. I think Vancouver comes back a bit, though.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way they don't.
No.
Right? But they want to fire Boudreaux.
They can't be as bad as, like, Anaheim.
That said, Horvat is likely going to be traded this year. Like, they're not making the playoffs. He wants to get he needs a new contract. They're not going to give him the $10 million he's going to want.
No, he's going to be a really good trade bait for Vancouver. I mean,
yeah, and I think that's it because JT Miller's not getting traded. He just signed an 8-year deal. Like, I don't understand the Vancouver GM though, man. Like, how did you expect to do better when all you did was improve your offense? Your issue last year wasn't offense. Your issue last year was defense. Only defense, actually.
Yeah.
Because your goaltending was exceptional. Your forwards were putting up ridiculous points. Elias Pettersson had an awful year, and he still put up almost a point per game. Like, your issue was an offense. It was always defense.
And then he just goes out and...
It's easier said than done to upgrade your defense. But, like, you have the Calgarys of the world or the Vegas of the world. Or these guys upgraded their defense every year, it feels like. Like, they find ways. They just take priority. I don't know. Vegas' top 6 is looking pretty darn good, too. I thought losing Pacioretty was going to be a bigger blow than it actually was. But I completely forgot that they gained Eichel pretty much.
Yeah.
Because he was
he came, like, late.
Too.
He came late last year.
Late, but it was still, like, he hasn't played in over a year.
Yeah. So, it was like, I guess, it evened out. But
Eichel's putting good numbers up, too, hey?
Mm-hmm.
Good numbers up. I'm excited for Tyler Benson to come back because he'll be a really good addition to the fourth line for us. Just a physical. He's not big, but he's a physical guy. He likes finishing hits and all that kind of stuff. I think we also miss Archibald for that reason too. He's an anti-vaxxer, so he can screw himself. I think that's about it for hockey.
Yeah.
For me, like, this is a disappointing start to the season for many Canadian teams, especially Western Canada, except for the Jets. Like, they're unreal. But Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton are both, like, or all three of them are probably, like, what, 50% of what they can play?
Oh, yeah. No, like, and it's still fairly early.
Yeah.
But they just have to start waking up now, or else if they continue to play like this, it's just going to...
Yeah, you can't have it too late.
Yeah, just going to...
I also said, if you play your best hockey at the end of the season heading into the playoffs, that's also a good thing.
Yeah, but you kind of have to start playing well. Yeah, you have to play well, like, throughout the season, not just at the end of the season.
They need to play like 600 or 650 hockey until then, and then they can start going on big win streaks. But listen, they're still in a position. They're in a playoff position right now. They need to start winning against their own division. They haven't played against the Anaheim, San Jose's yet, or Arizona or Seattle for that matter.
Well, they have. I think like once.
We haven't played Arizona yet.
But we played Seattle.
Did we?
Yeah.
What was the result of that game? I'm pretty sure it was this
I'll find it, but we have. I think we did play at least Seattle.
I'm positive it was a preseason game against Seattle. I'm like super sure of it. But we haven't played against the Anaheims or San Jose's. Those are bad teams. We played against LA. That should not have been a loss. We should not have lost that one at all.
No, that one definitely hurt us for sure.
But we'll see.
Yeah, it was 5-3, where we won. Yeah.
When was this?
Never mind. It was on the 7th.
Preseason.
Yeah, that was preseason.
Yeah. We've just finished that, yeah. So, yeah, we haven't played against
technically
Seattle's,
we haven't played
Arizona's.
it. Yeah.
We haven't played the bad teams yet. We've had a tough start to the season.
I was going to say, like, we've been playing really good teams, except for we should have won against Buffalo and LA. So
we should have won against Buffalo, LA, and Jersey.
And Jersey.
Jersey, it was 2-1.
But Jersey's
like
just playing out of their mind right now.
They are, but their number one goalie was injured that game. And we had it all the way. Like, they just fell asleep. That's the biggest issue with this team this year, man. They're not playing a full game, like, whatsoever. And when they let their guard down is when the other team comes back. There's a couple of times where we just caught, like, the other team was just significantly better than us. But, like, the St. Louis game, for example, when we lost 2-1 or 2-0, I actually did not think the Oilers played bad at all. They were playing a very good game.
It was just St. Louis played better.
St. Louis was exceptional that game. Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's everything from us this week.
We're not going to talk about World Cup.
Oh, I forgot about the World Cup.
You're all about soccer and you forgot about the World Cup?
Oh my gosh, dude.
How did you forget about the World Cup?
Well, Canada had an off day today.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. I didn't see any news about Canada today.
We did beat Japan.
So 2-1. Impressive. A stupid Panelka penalty that almost got saved. But not the end of the world. Actually, did you know that we played against Dubai City FC right after the Japan game?
No.
Yeah, we had a squad that played against them it was a 45-minute like friendly, obviously, and it was like all the guys who have not really played yet. Like St. Clair started that game, and
also
Saint Clair, not Sinclair, St. Clair.
So like the subs and the reserves,
yeah. Ike Ugbo played. Cavallini actually played. Osorio played. It was just 45 minutes. It was 2-0. We beat Dubai FC 2-0.
Nice.
It's Dubai FC.
And
like,
yeah, but I was gonna say, like, we haven't had a podcast in a month. Our boy Atiba,
thank God,
made the team.
Thank God. I mean, let's start. I'm gutted that Daniel Henry didn't make it. I don't think he's like great by any means, but he's a very heart and soul kind of guy.
But we were worried about Atiba Hutchinson because it's basically his last chance at the World Cup. So I was like,
question.
If he didn't make the team, we would have been like super sad.
He played really well actually in the Japan game. The first 10 minutes was like, but he hasn't played in like 6 months.
Yeah, so
because of a bone bruise. So yeah, he'll good. He should put up like 65. He'll be good. Sorry, he'll put up like 65 minutes against Belgium, and then Osorio will come in and replace him. Either that, depending on where we are. If it's like if we need offense, then it'll probably be Ismail Kone that comes in. If he hasn't already started, because there's a chance that he actually starts instead of Laren. They might play like a different formation. Or if we're trying to defend, like a Piet might come in. But we'll see. I think Eustakio plays a full 90. He should. Honestly, he's that good. Davies, he was asked how he was today. He says, I'm at 100%. I'm hoping that's true. I'm hoping that he can actually play the full 90. That said, Junior Hoylett is playing out of his mind right now. If Davies can only play like 65 minutes or even 45 and like Hoylett starts, Davies comes in at half or like vice versa, I'd be okay with it. But Tajon Buchanan's playing incredible right now.
He is,
Jonathan David is a solid.
Yep.
So there's a chance. I honestly think that with Belgium, we play with just the one striker up front. And we play with like a false forward in the front. And that could be Ismail Kone instead of Kyle Laren. It very well could. But that's because Kyle Laren actually hasn't played much for his club team recently, Club Brugge. He's been a sub mostly. So that's a big downfall for him. But we'll see. And then the defense, Stephen Vittoria is just the leader back there. Kamal Miller needs to step up a little bit. The goal that they let in against Japan, it was Kamal Miller was just stuck watching the ball, or like he wasn't watching his man at all. He was just It was on him a lot. Alistair Johnson is playing really good. I think Sam Adekubke starts over Richie Larea to start. I think Larea is just too much of a hothead, too much of a loose cannon for us to, it's scary, honestly, for me to have Larea start, especially against, because if we get a yellow card right away, that's not going to be good.
No.
I actually like our chances against Belgium more than I do against Croatia, though.
You forgot Milan Borjan.
Well, Borjan.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, what about our goalie?
Borjan is going to make big, but we need him for his leadership, man. Like a team like Borjan on the pitch at the same time, it's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge.
We need that. But so my ideal lineup to start the first game against Belgium, we need a strong midfield. The Belgium defense is by far their weakest point. And I think with two wingers of Davies and Buchanan, a false 9 presence of Kone, and then a genuine striker of David.
Yeah.
The 4 of them it's gonna be elite. And then you have an attacking mid of Eustachio, a defensive mid of Hutchinson, and then the center backs of Miller and Vittoria, and then you have the wing backs of Johnson and Adekupke. I think we do a 4-2-3-1. I really do. I think that's the smartest way of playing against Belgium.
Oh, against Belgium, yeah.
Because we need like we need that center we need to find a way of stopping De Bruyne, man. You stop De Bruyne on that team, you're set. Yeah, they have the Hazards of the world. Yeah, they have the Tillmans. They have like the good teams. Like, don't get me wrong, Belgium is an exceptional team. But if you stop De Bruyne, that's their whole team pretty much. That's like the heart of that team. Now, who would I take? Hazard or Davies? Davies stopped Messi in the Champions League. We're taking Davies.
Oh yeah,
right. Tillmans or Buchanan? You're taking Buchanan. Batshuayi, whatever the name is, Batshuayi, or David. You're taking Jonathan David. But I mean, Eustachio over De Bruyne, you're taking De Bruyne. You know what I mean? Like, and Courtois is the best goalie in the world right now. So you're going to need something special to get past Courtois, for sure. But listen, I genuinely believe Canada has a chance against, and I'm very biased clearly, but against Belgium is our best chance for an upset. No, Croatia is just too good of an overall team for me. That Croatia, if we tie them, I'm going to be ecstatic. A loss, I wouldn't be surprised.
No.
But I guess
so you're thinking
Belgium, like I'm like hopelessly optimistic for a win.
But I think a draw would be fine.
Is realistic.
Yeah.
Even a loss against Belgium, I can't be upset. It's number 2 team in the world. How can you be upset with a loss to Belgium? I would at least like to be competitive in that game. And it's going to be really important how they start, because this is a young team.
They better not start like the Oilers.
This is a young team with no World Cup experience. No. Not a single one of them has played in the world's biggest stage. So Japan a year ago it was okay. Like later on they started playing well. The first 20 were garbage. But against Qatar, the first 20 they were incredible, and the rest of the game they were garbage. So I'm interested to see what happens, man. Like John Herdman is a god. If these guys, all I want from this World Cup is one goal. That's all I want. I want Canada to score. Which actually brings me to my point. First off, do you think we got our first goal against Belgium? By the time our next episode airs, do you think we've already scored our first?
By the time our first our next episode, I mean,
it's going to be likely before game 2, so it's going to be against Belgium. Do you think we score against Belgium?
You said game 2, so we're playing Croatia first.
We're playing Croatia second, but second on Sunday the 27th. Our next episode is likely going to be up or a little earlier than that, the 26th, would it not?
Oh yeah. I'd say so. I can see that.
Who scores Canada's first goal ever at the World Cup?
I'm going to say David.
Jonathan David?
Yeah.
Very safe bet, yeah. That's a good player. He's so good. I'm going to go with... My heart says I want Hutchinson to score that goal so bad. So bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to go... It's going to be off a set piece in the corner. We have some massive players.
I didn't think of like corners and stuff.
I'm going to go with Kamal Miller scoring his first ever international goal for the first ever goal of Canada in the World Cup. Just something in my gut's telling me it's going to be Kamal Miller. And it's going to be, I'm going to tell you right now, in the 17th minute. against Belgium. Canada will score the first ever goal in the World Cup in the 17th minute.
You want to bet on it?
I'm not going to put money down. Like, what? The odds? What are the odds?
Let's put like $10.
Okay, well, what if we're both wrong?
No, you said that they're going to score in the 17th minute.
Okay, but like, if they don't score,
fine.
It's like, honestly, if we're going to bet this in Vegas, I'm gonna guess it's Kamal Miller in the 17th minute, dude. My odds are probably 1,000 to 1. If I put $10 down, I'm getting $10,000 back. Like, there's no.
You should see if you can find.
I'm gonna try to
find something like that. Yeah, online.
I don't know what it is. Like, I want Hutchinson to score that goal so bad, like more than anyone can even understand.
It'd be such like a feel good moment.
100% it would. 100% it would. But something is telling me it's going to be a set piece because we have big guys, man. We have big.
We got
boys
huge guys, yeah.
And Kamal Miller was this close to scoring the other day, so I don't know, man. Something's telling me. And 17 is my lucky number, so I'm going to go with 17th.
Oh, that makes sense.
And I put in this World Cup bracket that Canada would lose 2-1 to Belgium. I actually kind of wish I could take it back. I think we're going to win 2-1 against Belgium now. That's going to be my heart prediction is going to be 2-1.
They're going to be so nervous though. Oh, everyone is going to be so nervous.
Like, listen, man, your entire life has been dedicated to that moment. I think their best game is going to be their first game. I think they're going to have an absolute disaster against Croatia and then come back and crush Morocco. Because like you have the adrenaline, your first ever World Cup game. These guys were not.
But they're going to have like the burden of like everything from like 86.
You can think it that way, but also think about it this way: there's no expectations.
There is no expectations.
Should win on paper like 5-6-0.
Basically, we should lose all our games.
100%.
Yeah, basically, we should lose all our games.
Losing every single one of our games.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even score a goal. Pretty much. No, 100%. How can you feel pressure when?
But then you see like everyone else talking about like the dark horse Canada,
right?
And everything.
Because there's always one. There's always one. And who better than the CONCACAF champions just come in there?
That came out of nowhere.
Like these guys, they're what 3-2-2 in their last game since for this year, I think. So since Edmonton's 2 wins, they're 3-2-2. Right? Not great, not awful. We lost to Honduras. That sucked in the Nations League, but whatever. At the end of the day, there's no pressure on these guys. John Herdman is quite possibly one of, if not the best motivator in the planet. Yeah. They're going to show up. There's actual bets that if a Canadian will cry during the anthem, a Canadian player will cry during the anthem.
If there is, I'm going to bet on it.
It's going to be Mila Morion that's going to cry during the anthem, 100%.
Oh, I can see that, yeah.
Look, there's no pressure on these guys. There's none. They're professional athletes. They've trained their whole lives for this moment. They got to come out and perform and do the best. That said, they qualify for the damn World Cup. Canada's already ecstatic. They can lose every single game. We'll still be beating proud, right? But this World Cup is to build for the next one because the next one, Davies, Buchanan, David, Kone will all be entering their prime. The next 2 World Cups are the ones that we have our biggest chance at really scaring some people. And I don't know, who knows, man. This entire country's going to be watching this game. It's going to really motivate some kids to get there. And you know who we have to thank for that? The Canadian women. Canadian women, London 2012, man. That was a big moment. This World Cup does not happen without Christine Sinclair's hat trick against USA in the semifinals of that game where we got robbed by the politics. It doesn't happen at all. That's who we have to thank. We have the women to thank. We have John Herdman and the women to thank for that. Because I saw a documentary today. John Herdman was talking about when he first got into that women's room. And it was the most toxic environment ever, apparently. Yeah, apparently a woman comes up to him and says, hey, this is the worst I've ever seen a room in my life. Watch out. Be careful. Yeah. He comes in, airs it all out, lets them all air it out. They go to win bronze in London right after. Like, Let's just see how it goes, man. There's no expectation. None.
I'm just so excited.
I'm so excited. This is the 2 years in a row our countries are going to be in the World Cup. Peru.
Yep.
From
2 years in a row? Or two World Cups in a row?
Peru, where our parents are from. You know, you and I feel have a very strong connection with Peru.
Oh, yeah.
And then Canada, where we've been born and raised our entire lives. This is quite possibly, though, the greatest, the most pride I've ever had in a sporting event or a sporting world in my life. And again, I'm not going to cry if we lose. I will cry if we win, though. I'll be honest with you. I will probably.
I'm just going to cry.
Bawling if we win. But at the end of the day, there's no expectations. Nope. What better way of doing it? That said, I'm feeling the pressure because I told you that Canada would make the quarterfinals. So we'll see. So one of our bold predictions has to happen, right?
I don't even remember my bold prediction. Well, like I know the tennis one.
A Canadian would win the tennis.
A tennis major.
And or Stroll would podium.
Was it a podium?
He said. I'm pretty sure he said podium.
No, I think.
Or at least a top 5, which neither happened.
I think it was just points.
No, it was
okay.
Because you made bold predictions, dude. Like you said, like I don't know, McDavid would score 120 goals this year. Like that's how bold of a prediction.
120 goals.
Mine was
okay. I think it was a podium, yeah. And it obviously wasn't going to happen.
Series and then Canada quarterfinals. So
basically, the only one left is yours.
Yeah. So we'll see. For me, it's all going to depend on how they play in the first game against Belgium. It's going to set the pace. Croatia's the toughest opposition for me. Mm-hmm. Croatia's that's the best team. Morocco's a good team too. We're not supposed to win any game, you know. We're not. So, it'll be good. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Anyways. Hopefully Eustachio and Davies are healthy for the first game, though. Because we need them. We need them both. Davies needs to not try so hard. They need to put the structure, the right structure. Because David is surprisingly quick. They have Davies and Buchanan going up. Oh my god! I'm so excited. I just hope they play that 4-2-3-1. Because that's, in my opinion, going to be the best. That's the best formation that they're going to be able to do to beat Belgium. Because then you have Adekugbe. Johnson can guard Hazard pretty decently. Hazard's a god, though. But that's what you have everybody working together as a defensive unit, though.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're at too long of an episode now, so thank you everybody for listening. CANAS podcast, episode 43.
Yep. Almost 50.
We're getting pretty close.
Yep.
Season 2 is gonna we're doing season 2. It's gonna be the video thing downstairs.
Yeah.
When it's figured out, so we have no idea when season 2 is gonna be. And by that point, we'll hopefully have an intro song that
yes.
also actually likes.
Yeah.
I think my
no, it's not good.
Thank you everybody for listening.
It's annoying.
CANAS episode 43.
Don't. Nope.
And we'll see you again next week.
Yes, we will see you next week.
Podcast, talk sports. Canadian sports.